So John Lynch spoke at the NFL Combine, and we have a bunch of updates to go over. So I have gathered them all, and I will tell you the most important things that have come out. John Lynch has confirmed that they have begun contract negotiations with Brock Purdy and his representation. So we had already kind of heard this, but this was a confirmation that contract negotiations are ongoing, and they continue to say the same thing. They say, we want Brock to be our quarterback as long as we're here. That is a direct quote from John Lynch on this situation. So they keep talking and using the same language, like they want Brock to be here. So we'll see when that gets done. Also, in regards to Trent Williams, I think there's been kind of some speculation regarding what his future could look like, just understanding, some of the stuff that went down off the field last year that could, of course, have anyone question their future. But it does sound like he will be playing for the 49ers next year. John Lynch said Trent is playing, Trent is ready, and he is motivated. So that's good news. Obviously, the 49ers need to start looking ahead towards the future at that position, as Trent Williams is still 37 years old, and father time waits for no one. So we understand they're eventually going to have to get a left tackle of the future, but it does sound like Trent Williams will be back next year. In regards to all the rumors with Deebo Samuel and everything going on with that, John Lynch had mentioned that the 49ers will honor Deebo Samuel's trade request, and it does sound like there is interest in Deebo Samuel, at least according to John Lynch. There's a report that came out earlier in the week that also had said that teams were interested in Deebo Samuel, so maybe there's something to that. D'Amico Ryans was asked about Deebo Samuel. He said they're always in the interested in good players, and Deebo Samuel's a good player in his eyes. So who knows? There's a lot of coaches and front office executives across the league that have actually, been with Deebo. When you think about it, Adam Peters with the Washington Commanders, and the list goes on and on. Of all the different guys who've been kind of spread out across the league. You can hear the Hawaiian music in the background. I'm actually on my way to go see the volcano. The volcano erupted, and we're going to go see some lava, but we're stopped at this awesome bakery on our way there, so we're getting some food. But I had to make this update really quick. Also, in regards to George Kittle, 49ers, John Lynch confirms contract extension talks with George Kittle have started. Mentions wanting George Kittle to be a Niner, to retire a Niner. But he also does mention the timing is a little bit challenging, because clearly the 49ers have some big contracts to work on. That top one being Brock Purdy. So, but I think we do recognize that, if you're going to give a contract extension to someone, George Kittle is definitely worthy of that. And, he's so much more than just a player on the field. His presence in the locker room, he's a face of the National Football League. A great role model for young fans. He just brings so much to the table. So that's a guy that you definitely want to stick around and be a Niner for life. So we'll see what happens with that. George Kittle did mention that they were starting negotiations and talks on Radio Row. That's when I caught up with him. He said he wants nothing more than to be in red and gold for his entire career. John Lynch was asked about Brandon Aiyuk's timetable for return, and basically kind of didn't give too much information about it. basically saying that they have a upcoming meeting, I guess, with his doctors for kind of a benchmark placement of where they're at in regards to current timetable, when they are, going to start anticipating when he could be potentially available. I think currently right now with BA, week 1 is kind of questionable. We don't know if he'll be ready for week 1. It could also be something kind of similar to Talanoa Hufanga. Hufanga, if they pushed it, he maybe could have been ready for week 1, but I think they went until, week 4 in order to bring Hufanga back. Now, Hufanga got re-injured on his wrist, so he had to go out immediately. But I think, we'll see. We'll see where it lands in regards to that. John Lynch also gave an update on Dre Greenlaw. I think a lot of 49er fans are trying to figure out what's going on with Dre Greenlaw. He says negotiations with Dre Greenlaw have been ongoing, and they want to get something done prior to free agency starting. But Lynch does believe that Greenlaw will test the free agent market. And, I've tweeted about it before this, but based on what I've heard, I don't expect Dre Greenlaw to return. I would love to be wrong about that, because the fan in me wants Dre Greenlaw around. He's, proven to be one of the heart and souls of the 49ers defense, and would love nothing more to have him be a 49er. But just based on some things that I'm hearing, that I'm not going to go into too much detail on, maybe after the fact. But I'm just hearing that, or at least what I've heard tells me that I'm not expecting Dre to come back. That doesn't mean that's, concrete. Doesn't mean things can't change. Doesn't mean, he doesn't go out, test the market, realize there's not much of a market for him. And as a result of that works to the 49ers' benefit, and they are able to have good contract talks and bring him back. So, again, I'm not saying that this is like, report Dre Greenlaw is not returning. I'm just based on, like I said, what I've heard behind the scenes. That's what I've gathered. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition or not. But again, I hope I'm wrong on that one, because Dre Greenlaw just feels like such a integral member of the 49ers defense, which kind of took some steps back. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of stuff to come out of the Combine. As you can see, I'm not there. I typically am. But, family calls, vacation in Hawaii, not a bad consolation prize, if you ask me. So, a lot of stuff to unpack. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.